Have you noticed that some people seem to go through life where things just seem to happen to them? You hear this expression, "Oh, it had to happen to you, didn't it?" And they seem to bad luck seems to trail them. It happens with money as well. People make money and then somehow lose it. They just somehow uh, invest in something that went wrong, or they put it somewhere and it's lost, and so on. And a lot of people can drift through life that way. Now, what is it? Is it bad luck? I don't think it's bad luck. I don't think we're stamped on the head and saying you will have bad luck. What I believe it is, it's down to your mindset and the way you think about money. I want to show you some slides that I use in my webinar, which I usually run on a 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night, where I go through 3 steps to money management and financial freedom. So bear with me, and I'm going to share this screen with you and show you part of my webinar right now. Okay, first of all, on the webinar, I introduce myself because a lot of people don't know me, and I talk about how I've, in fact, invested tens of thousands of pounds into my own personal development and my education, if you like, through coaching and mentoring. And some of the early ones were people like Brian Tracy, that I ended up meeting in California, Napoleon Hill, through books like Think and Grow Rich, and also Jim Rohn, that I also met. He's unfortunately no longer with us, but it was like a life-changing weekend seminar, if you like, and these guys are unbelievable. They're legends in their time. And also went to see Robert Kiyosaki and Kim Kiyosaki, because I believe the book, I can never remember their book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, actually was a big game changer in that genre, in that self-development genre. It certainly changed the way I look at a lot of things in terms of investing. It wasn't just a property book, by the way, but it is largely around property. It was one of the first books I read that gives you an actual method of building wealth, where the others, like Brian Tracy, would be more general sort of general ideas on building wealth. And then I take people through a 3-step process: mindset, money management, and freedom. And I state that financial freedom depends on time plus how you manage your money and how you invest your money. So that's time plus how you manage your money and how you invest your money. So I go through money mindset. I'm just going to take you through this bit very quickly. But money mindset, I believe, affects the financial decisions that we make. And there are a lot of beliefs around money. And these beliefs can affect the decisions you make. It can affect things that you do or don't do in your financial world. A lot of people would say, "Oh, money's so hard to obtain," and for them, it becomes hard to obtain, doesn't it? Having more money means I'll have more problems. That's almost like you're pushing the money away, because you say, "I don't want that money because I'll have more problems." In fact, my parents used to say that, "Oh, those wealthy people, we wouldn't want to be like them, would we? Because they've got so many problems. They're not happy. They and all these sort of." And I said, "No, I don't believe that." Even as a young lad, I thought, well, I'd rather have the money and problems than like us. We don't have the money, but we've got problems, and we haven't got the money to deal with them. So all these beliefs form, and wanting more money is greedy. Yeah, I think some people might be greedy about money, but most people, it amounts to just wanting more. Means I want more security. I want a better education for my children. I want better healthcare. I want to live in a safer neighborhood. I want a bigger property that we're not squeezed into a little flat somewhere. It's just ambition, really. It doesn't mean that you're actually greedy. And money is just a tool. It's just something that enables you to do the things that you want to do. It's not all about, "Oh, I'm really happy because I'm looking at this money right now." It's what that money can do for you. And that's why I wrote the book, Money Can Buy You. Yes, money can buy you happiness. It doesn't mean it will buy you happiness, but the chances are people with money are generally happier than those without money. And the amount of money you earn as it goes up does make you happier up to a certain point, according to studies done by universities. So other beliefs: my family's always been poor. Well, that doesn't mean you need to be poor, does it? Just because your family's poor, it doesn't mean a rich family can't come from you. Money can't buy happiness, right? I think I've covered that. Yeah, it's not necessarily always going to buy you happiness, but if you're broke and you need security, you need food in your belly, money can buy you a little bit of happiness. And I've been to developing world countries, and I've seen kids, selling stuff in the streets, little toddlers almost. And, you can't say to them, well, money doesn't make you happy. No, no, no. There's much more important things in life than money. I look down on money. I despise money. But, the people who say that have got loads of money. So you can't tell people in the developing world that money won't make them happy. It's just a load of conceited nonsense. I don't deserve a lot of money. Wow, if you're saying that to yourself, it's like saying, I don't deserve love. I don't deserve happiness. No one said, when you were born, right, this one deserves money, that one doesn't deserve money. It doesn't work like that. It's all in your mind, literally. There isn't enough money to go around. Well, again, I'm pushing my book here, but that's one of the reasons why I wrote Borrow and Grow Rich, because Borrow and Grow Rich is about how you can use other people's money to build wealth. And it's been done for literally centuries by governments, by kings and queens and companies and individuals. So there's loads of money to go around. There's billions and trillions of dollars sitting in funds and hedge funds and pension schemes and banks and savings accounts waiting to be invested in, looking for deals. There's more money than there are deals out there. I'm not good with money. Maybe someone's told you that in the past. Look, I'm not, you're not good with money. I mean, I remember a friend of mine had a young son, and he used to tell me, oh, he's not good at sport. He's not good at sport. And this guy was a real sporting person. He played squash for the county, played tennis for the county. He was all round good sportsman. And he said, no, he hasn't got the ball control. No, I threw him a ball and he doesn't quite have the coordination. I said, but Alan, he's only 4 years old. You can't judge a kid at 4 and 5 years old. He's going to be useless at sport. But here's the strange thing. That boy grew up hating sport. He didn't like sport, and I wonder why. It seems to make sense, doesn't it? You're selfish if you want to make a lot of money. You need money to make money. Well, again, I think I've covered that in my book, Borrow and Grow Rich. You don't. I started 2 businesses with no money. You can start a business today with either no money or very little money, online businesses with hardly any money. And if you do need money for a business, there's people out there that will give you the money if it's a good, viable business. If it's a rubbish business, then you're going to find it tough to get the business off the ground. But if it's something that people think is worthwhile and can offer a good service and help solve people's problems, then there is the money out there for it. You can't change your financial future. Well, that's just a load of not. That again is in your mind. Jim Rohn used to say, we're not like a bird that flies south in the winter and flies south in the summer and north in the winter. No, it doesn't work like that. We can go anywhere we want. We're not a tree stuck in the ground saying, the weather's changed, but I can't do anything about it. No, you can change your life. You can change your financial world in almost in an instant, just by the way you're thinking. I can't save money. Again, has someone told you you're no good with money, or you'll never have any money because you can't save? When you tell a kid something like that, it sticks in their mind. It can form a belief, a false belief for the rest of their life. And then we get to the stage where you've got a blueprint around money, and you're saying things to yourself like, I can't afford it. Or money doesn't grow on trees, like my dad used to say. Money is scarce right now. Money is for rich people, like those people out there, not for us. No, it's those people. They're aliens. They're over there. They're rich people. Oh no, that doesn't include us. It doesn't mean that. Stinking rich, the fat cats, the greedy people that are depicted in the media. If you start thinking like that, why would you want money when you think that people with money are stinking and greedy and fat cats and cheat and lie, like they're depicted in the movies, And this belief that I can't. If you keep saying that, I can't do this, I can't do that, it starts to stick in your mind, and you start to really realize that you can't do it because your mind has told you that. But you can, change all these things. Your beliefs come from, obviously your parents and your family and people you spend your childhood with, friends, people you spend the most time with, can seriously affect the way you think, the way you dress, even the amount of money that you earn, media, schools, colleagues, and it's all about what you think about money that's formed by these beliefs, these people around you. And investing and emotions. Investment decisions are emotional decisions. They're not logical decisions. To a certain extent, you've got to work out the logic of something. But when it comes down to pulling the trigger, it's about emotion. If you're too scared to invest, and you just want to keep your money under the mattress or in a bank earning 2%, then you're not going to make much money. leaving your money in the bank. So you've got to have the emotional intelligence to say, well, yes, there is some risk in investments, but if you take a calculated risk, you can make a lot more with your money. It's not gambling. There's some risk with investment, but it's not what I would call gambling, where you're just putting your money on a number in a casino or on a horse hoping it will win, or on the outcome of an election that we know is going on at the moment. So investment decisions are very much emotional, and that's why education is important, because if you have the education, you have the knowledge, and you know what you're doing, then you don't feel like it's so much of a risk because you've taken the calculated risk, or you get good advice. But the best way is to be educated. Then you'll have the emotional intelligence and the education to make good financial decisions in your life. Now, how can you change your dialogue? Well, look, you can change things like money is scarce, right? Oh, money is scarce and there's no money around. So try this one. Money is an abundant resource that's readily available to those who seek opportunities and apply their skills and knowledge. So it's not woo-woo stuff, right? This is not something out of the secret. This is saying it's an abundant resource. There's plenty out there. We know that, and it's available to you if you seek opportunities. You go out and look for things, opportunities, and then you apply your skills. That means do something, get off your ass and do something, and you apply your skills and knowledge. It's no good sitting there saying, the money will come, the money will come. And you'll get a voice saying, no, it won't unless you get off your bum. No, it doesn't work like that. Do something. You really got to put some action in. You've got to take some action. That's just a fact. But you've got to have the right mindset as well. Affirmations like money's hard to earn, money's too tight to mention. Remember that song, Money's Too Tight to Mention? Well, the guy who wrote that has got lots of money. But look, money flows effortlessly and abundantly into my life as I continuously explore and seize opportunities to generate wealth and financial prosperity. So it will come to you abundantly, but you've got to, go out and explore the opportunities. In one of the early books I read on money and self-development was Think and Grow Rich. Look at that book. It's maybe 30 years old, 40 years old or something. I've got notes there and that sort of thing. Well-worn book. They said, it is down to the way you think, but there's no such thing as something for nothing. And I remember thinking, well, that's a bit of a catch, isn't it? You said think and grow rich, but on the other hand, you're saying there's no such thing as something for nothing. And he goes through the steps, and this book is still kind of relevant today. There's some stuff in it that might seem a bit out of date, but a lot of it is still relevant today. And I think you can get this almost free on PDFs now. But they talk about persistence, they talk about action, they talk about decision, making that decision. So that is about the way you think. And if you're brought up in a family that like I was, where they always thought, well, you go to school, you get a job, you go to work, and hopefully at the end of it you get a pension, then a business is quite alien to you, or investing is quite alien to you. You used to just put your money in the post office or something like that. The one thing my parents did say is that buy a house. They did push me into property, but the idea of starting a business or something like that was just too far away from their way of thinking. Whereas if you're brought up in a family that's always been in business, you might have a head start on others. You can change these statements like, I can't afford it, right? I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So how can I afford it, right? A statement like, I can't afford it, closes the mind, right? End of subject, full stop, finished, period. I can't afford it. But a question like, how can I afford it, opens the mind. And when I say opens the mind, you're now thinking, how can I afford it? How can I do this? How can I go to the Seychelles next year? How can I go on a holiday to the Caribbean? You're thinking about it, and your brain starts to give you answers. It does work like that. It really does. And whether it comes from your brain or the universal brain or somewhere, we don't know, right? But what I do know is that many successful people have talked about it. It's in Think and Grow Rich. Sixth Sense. He talks about a guy that used to sit for ideas, go into a dark room, write down a problem and sit for ideas, a quiet room. We'd have some light, of course, and then he start writing the solutions to things down. And companies would pay him. They give him big problems to think about and solve, and he would do it like a computer, like AI almost. This is going back in the 30s, and I know that I've read about songwriters. That the songwriters for Crowded House said, You know, when he wants to write a song, he switches off his phone, he switches off everything, TV, radio, everything, sits down and almost channels music through him. And then he'll start maybe playing on a piano or a guitar, and things happen. Gary Barlow said the same thing. He just sits there and starts playing, and things go on. You know, Lionel Richie, famous songwriter and singer, he said that songs are in the air. You know, he said songs are in the air. He talks about Marvin Gaye when he was working on the seminal album, What's Going On, how Marvin Gaye was almost making it up as he went along. And he said, I don't know where this is coming from. He said, it's just coming through me. He'd start the music playing, and he'd start singing, Mother, Mother, there's too many of you die. And he'd go through it, and he did a whole album like that. He said he don't know where it was coming from. It was just coming through him. Paul McCartney dreamt songs. Songs would come to him, but he dreamt songs. Like yesterday, he woke up thinking, da, 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 da. And then he started working on it. He thought, I must have heard this before. He also dreamt about Let It Be. Mother Mary comes to me saying, let it be. Mother Mary was his mother or his auntie, I think. And, you know, it was, and he literally, but what he did was take action. He woke up and sort of wrote things down or put it on a tape recorder and took action on it. Whereas, you know, if you're walking along in the park and an idea comes to you, are you going to take action? Are you going to at least write it down in a notebook or on your phone and start taking action? Or are you going to just ignore it and then it just drifts away? Ideas can come to you on a walk, especially when you're not thinking about what do I do now? What do I do now? You're just switching off and taking a walk, or maybe going out into nature, or just in the shower or the bath, or just sitting down quietly. Brian Tracy recommends sitting down quietly for 30 minutes, no phones, no tea, no coffee, no distractions. And he said remarkable things happen when you just sit for 30 minutes and you don't talk. Things happen. So bear that in mind. It's not woo-woo stuff here. These things do exist. So change your dialogue. How can I? Wealthy people don't say, I can't do it. They say, well, how can I do it? What can we do here? Like if they wanted a new car, they might say, well, okay, I haven't got the cash. I can't pay this car cash. But could I generate some investments or increase my income in some way to be able to afford to get that car? Or could I buy a property and get the rental income from that property to fund a lease on a car? They usually look for a way of how they can do it. They're what they call can-do people, okay? They're can-do people. So I hope that's given you some insight here. And remember that, you know, if you don't come from a rich family can come from you, right? So there you go. I wanted to go through that little process and give you some insight into my webinar, which is on 7 p.m. on usually on a Wednesday, not every Wednesday, it's every other Wednesday usually. But you can register for that. I'll put a link up to that, and you can see the whole webinar then. And I go through the other steps, which are money management and freedom, talking about financial freedom. So we'll go through those on the web. I'm not going to go through them all now because it will take quite a while. But money management is very important as a foundation for becoming wealthy and financial free. So thanks very much for listening to that. And I will see you again on the next episode. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.